My name's Dylan,
My name's Madison.
and we chose to do what the concept is of the American dream. The American dream that we have today is slightly different from what we found the American dream to be back in the earlier years. So, the American dream that we have initially today is the ideal that every U.S. citizen should have an equal opportunity to achieve success and prosperity through hard work, determination, and initiative. Whereas we found that the American dream back in the earlier years used to be more around just finding more land and opportunity to find more resources through trade with other societies.
So the first literary piece we chose to use was John Heckewelder's piece. And in his piece, he explains the Native American side of the story when Europeans first came over to North America. He introduces his piece by explaining that it is a story that has been passed down from generations from the Lenape tribe. He contributes to the first ideas of the American dream, that although America isn't the name yet of the country, the general views on the invaders of the newly found country are starting to be put into effect. Their American dream in this day and age is to find valuable resources and make trade with the Native Americans. The quote that I found that best describes what he's talking about is on page 70, and it says, "The man with the red clothes returned again and distributed presents among them, consisting of bead, axes, hoes, and stockings such as the white people wear. They soon became familiar with each other and began to converse by signs. The Dutch made them understand that they would not stay here, that they would return home again, but would pay them another visit the next year, when they would bring them more presents and stay with them a while. But as they could not live without eating, they should want a little land of them to sow seeds in order to raise herbs and vegetables to put into their broth." So this quote shows that they're trading with the Native Americans to provide for their own people, and that shows that they're making trade with them and producing valuable resources. So that was their American dream back in that day. The second story we chose to use from our readings was the pamphlet from Benjamin Franklin. So in a pamphlet that Benjamin Franklin wrote, he explains to his reader, that what the differences are between Europe and future America. At this time, most people in Europe want to leave their government to immigrate to a new life, but Franklin explains that it's not as easy as they think it is. He further explains the American dream by explaining that travelers that moved away from Europe strive to be equal and work the land in order to provide for their families. He explains how there's no classes, just the working class. So the quote that we used from Information to Those Who Would Remove to America on page 471, it says, "The truth is that though there are in that country very few people so miserable as the poor of Europe, there are also very few that in Europe would be called rich. It is rather a general mediocrity that prevails. There are few great proprietors of the soil and few tenants. Most people cultivate their own lands or follow some handicraft or merchandise. Very few rich enough to live idly upon their rents or incomes, or to pay the high prices given in Europe for paintings, statues, architecture, and other works of art that are more curious than useful."
So another writing that helps to clarify or specify what the American dream is the Declaration of Independence by Thomas Jefferson. Especially in the beginning paragraphs where Jefferson gives the idea that everybody is it's created equivalent, and as individuals, they have the right to seek what they want in life. Americans need to look at each other on the same level and be civil to one another, and should have the right to be free. And so the quote that I chose from the Declaration of Independence is one of the very first things that he states, where he says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, and that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with inherent and inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness." So what he says in the Declaration of Independence is really kind of what we based the American dream off of today, and you can see how it's definitely evolved over the years on what we base the American dream off of.
So that's basically what our American dream is today, but it can be further explained by people that believe women should have more rights. And Judith Sargent Murray explains that in one of her literary pieces that we read about. So since the Declaration of Independence only technically included white males, Judith Sargent Murray created works of literature that transformed the way that people view the American dream. She decided that women should have equal rights as much as men do. I believe that this dream is still trying to be pursued today. Murray proves that she has deep concerns for women's rights when she states, after the poem on page 740, she says, "Is it upon mature consideration we adopt the idea that nature is thus partial in her distributions? Is it indeed a fact that she hath yielded to one half of the human species so unquestionable a mental superiority? I know that to both sexes elevated understandings and reverse are common, but suffer me to ask, in what the minds of females are so notoriously deficient or unequal?" So in this quote, she seems to ask in a sarcastic way what men are thinking and how ridiculous it sounds to prove to the reader that women should have equal opportunity. And so since the American dream hasn't really been changed since the Declaration of Independence, people have their own takes on what it should, how it should change, and that's how women's rights are concerned today still.